Hi, I'm joined today by Chad Neal, partner at SCES Consulting, which is a partner of Intellect. We've recently come out with a co-branded guide on integrating your ERP and QMS together. And I'm speaking to Chad today to kind of touch on some of the points in that guide and just to expand more on, why companies would integrate their QMS with their ERP, benefits, things to look out for. So thank you, Chad, for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, on a high level, why would a company want to integrate their QMS and their ERP?
Yeah, so I think for a lot of companies, there's a requirement now to have all of these components in one area, right? So if I have an ERP system living outside of a QMS or a quality management system, I need those systems to talk to each other. So for maybe suppliers or parts or things like that, I might need that information in my quality management system. Maybe that's for non-conforming products or information downstream that we need to capture. So having that integration is necessary these days just to be able to have a full flow of information coming out of my QMS system.
Okay, that makes sense. And are there certain industries that benefit in different ways from this integration?
Yeah, I think different industries, when you talk about like automotive industry or even life sciences, there's a lot of information that can come out of or go into a QMS system. So in the automotive world, ERP systems are heavily used, whether that's material planning, your inventory, different things like that. That information can get captured in the system. Maybe we're having issues with stock, or we're having issues with our material planning, or supplier qualifications, or whatever that looks like. That information being pushed into one system, and then having all of your corrective actions or any non-conformances coming out of that QMS, I can capture everything from that one system for data reporting, whether that's going to dashboards or some sort of tool to manipulate and get that data out into one big picture for everybody.
Okay, that makes sense. And I think in previous conversations, you mentioned life sciences might have a different use case
Yeah,
for.
life sciences would, if you think even with clinical trials or the FDA regulated items, that information can go into a QMS system, but then the outputs can also be necessary too. So think, with complaint handling, you're going to have MedWatch information that goes to the FDA. It also pushes information back into the system. So having all of that information coming out again out of one system instead of having to link different systems together is valuable.
Okay. So a company who's, sees the value of this integration, wants to get started, what are some of the first steps that they need to consider or to do?
I think first steps obviously are going to be around cost. Um, you want to make sure that you have a streamlined plan of how to integrate these two without going too far out of the necessary bounds to get started. Less is more to get started in most cases. Keep it simple to start, and then as you're going through the process, you'll figure out what else you need or how that information maybe should come to a different location, or whatever that means or translates to. But just keep in mind the cost, and I always stress to keep it simple at first. It makes more sense.
And then you can build on the integration if needed, correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. When you're talking about these integration components, you're talking about a variety of different areas. So think of an ERP system as having a lot of different functionality and just different components to it, whether that's materials, inventory, suppliers, um, inputs and outputs, right? So when all of that goes into your QMS system at once, it can be overwhelming, number one, for users. And number two, it doesn't always add value up front. Keep it focused to the necessary areas. Maybe if we're working on non-conformances or non-conforming material, we're only focused on suppliers and parts, right? But then downstream and later on, you can focus on other areas.
Got it. What are some of the things maybe a company needs to look out for, be aware of, in addition to cost and starting small, what are some other things that they need to kind of consider as they're undertaking this project?
Yeah, we've worked with several customers who maybe the components weren't always compatible. So first thing obviously is always compatibility. Some ERP systems, whether maybe it's a smaller ERP system or a smaller startup ERP, maybe it's not compatible with your QMS system. You always want to verify that. A couple of other things that we always recommend is possibly having a middleware piece like a MuleSoft or something that captures the information from the source and then distributes it the way you need it to a little easier than having to build it in your QMS system. So tools like that are readily available. Even tools that help manage the workflow process, right? So think of Zapier or something like that that can help translate information from one system and put it into another much more, much easier.
Got it. And so I know, with Intellect, we have an open API. We're able to use that to integrate with other business systems like an ERP. But you had mentioned that, there's some planning involved. And so that's why, we can rely on partners like SCES Consulting to help map that out, make that more cost efficient as they're doing this integration. So we're glad to have you as a partner with us. Can you maybe share why SCES has decided to partner with Intellect?
Yeah, I appreciate that, but yeah, we like the product. One of the key things is, the technology with Intellect is very streamlined. Building systems in there with a very dedicated focus. It's a clean solution. It's we love the layout. Even working on the configuration side, it's very straightforward, very easy to work with. And the outputs look very nice. So having the APIs to handle the integration piece, and then having a streamlined front end, it adds value downstream. I can tell you that with a lot of customers we work with, change is always difficult, but when you have a system that works well and is very streamlined like that, it makes that process so much easier.
Well, great. We definitely value our partnership. Thank you, Chad, for chatting with us about this today. And we do have a guide that's available for anybody interested on integrating their ERP and QMS. And if you have any questions for either of us, please feel free to reach out to us at intellect.com. Thanks,
Thank you,
Chad.
Raquel. Thanks.